All right, we are going to go through all of the new cards that are set for August and September. So there's a nice little batch of cards that we have here. So we have all the ones that are kind of already kind of mined and confirmed for the August season. And then we will take the somewhat recently data mined September season cards as well. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to look at these cards. I don't really talk about, you know, jumping ahead and looking at data mine cards too much, but I'm trying to be a little bit more open to it because I think that it is pretty fun to kind of speculate on certain things. Okay, the first one that we have is Lady Deathstrike. The Lady Deathstrike is a 5/3 with on reveal. Destroy each card here with less power than this. So I've looked at this card and I feel like I've seen this card in different variations, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I feel like I've seen this card as like a 6/4. I've seen it as a 5/3. Tough. Can we Phoenix Force this? You could, but it would be very, very hard. I feel like I've always seen like a very similar effect with destroy each card here, destroy each opponent's card here with less power than this. If it comes out as a 5/3, I feel like you kind of need to buff it to really get some help from it. Because like if you're just destroying 2 power and less cards, it's not that scary. Even like Cerebro 2, it doesn't deal with. Dracula counter, I feel like is pretty important. You can kill off Cerebros with it, so even though like you can't destroy the Cerebro cards, you can get rid of Cerebros, you can get rid of Iron Men. But a lot of those Iron Man decks are running Bass now, so like Bass just kind of gets it out of range, right? Wipe out a Storm Broodlane on turn 5. I mean, you could, but that's a very, very niche interaction, right? I feel like this is like, if this gets to 4 power, it's very strong, right? 3 and less is a pretty good thing to wipe out. Anti-Goblin tech is an interesting idea. It is a mirrored effect though, right? Because it hits your side of the board too. It's an important thing to think about. Iron Ladding this card would be devastating for sure. You can nuke an entire thing. Yeah, I think Forge, Nakia, Okoye, which is tough. Because like none of those cards are all that good. Maybe if a lot of people have been asking for Forge to get buffed to 2/2. We have 5/7 when played in C3. Like, is it that good to play this in C3 though? Like, if you're not adjusting this and you're just destroying 0 and 2 power, like a 5 power, a 5 energy, why would you want to kill Bucky? Your own Bucky for 5 energy? You're spending 6 energy on 9 power? Patriot's a pretty good idea. Yeah, Valkyrie is just simply a better choice than C3. I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's actually a really good point, Rick. The Phoenix Force wouldn't work as you'd expect. It's the same reason that we got caught with a few other things. They confirmed that it works with Cerebro? I don't know how that would work. I think ongoing effects take effect before on reveals. I'm pretty sure. Like, for instance, if there was a blue Marvel down and you played a Galactus, does it count as an 8 power you have to get over? I think that Galactus would work. Would be current power. Yeah, I think that like the best thing to test that would be like Galactus, I would say. Absman could be fun. I don't know. So this seems like a tech card. If it's released as is, I feel like it's probably not going to really disrupt the meta. If it gets to a 5/4, I think it's crazy. I think as a 5/4, this card could be really, really devastating against a lot of decks. On reveal what happened first? I don't think so. Like, I think if you Galactus with a blue Marvel on board, I think the Galactus would incorporate that 8 power into deciding if it has more power than the opponent, no? I'm pretty sure that's how it would work. Yeah, so that would mean that Cerebro, if Cerebro affected this, then it would take into account the Cerebro buff before the on reveal resolved, right? Could we play with Dakin? Yeah, I would imagine that, right? But I still don't think that's I still don't think it's that good. That's the problem. I still don't think it's that strong personally. But an interesting card, Lady Deathstrike. Let's move on to the next one. X23. When this is discarded or destroyed, regenerated as a random location, get +1 energy next turn. X23 is a... Is this like the son of Wolverine or the offspring of Wolverine? Wolverine's daughter? The girl in Logan? Girl in Logan. True. When this is discarded or destroyed, regenerated at a random location, get +1 energy each turn. So you basically just run this in like a classic destroy deck, right? You know what deck this goes really well in? Tempo Modok. That strong guy synergy. I think this is broken, huh? I don't know if it's broken. Maybe it is. I mean, it's just really good. I mean, you can even just do it. Like, ramping is really nice. I mean, you're getting a Psylocke effect whenever you destroy it. Oh, and it gets hit by Killmonger? Oh, yeah. With Killmonger, too, man. It gets hit by every destroy card. Yeah, maybe it is really, really strong. I feel like this kind of changes how you'd want to build destroy decks, right? I feel like it's really, really cool. We'll make armor popular again. Well, I think the whole next set has a lot of destroy effects, so armor will probably come out a lot more. Destroy turn 5, play a big Deadpool Null on turn 6. Yeah, it definitely helps like that Null kind of deck. Not only does it ramp, but it comes back every time as a 2-power card. Very true. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger, but yeah, I mean, it's still there. You can run into some issues. I mean, like Wolverine, back when it was just a 2-3, the issue with Wolverine is that it could sometimes clog lanes. Like, the randomness can sometimes be a downside. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times Wolverine. So, like, there is some downside to appearing at a random location, unless you're getting, like, buffed every time. So there's some downside to that you have to incorporate. Like, if there's a space throne, right? It's really... And you destroy this with the space thrown down, you know, and you don't draw Killmonger, you could ruin the lane. But it could also really help you if there's things like Sanctum being able to get there. So that downside can sometimes be mitigated. But I remember, like, originally that was what was very frustrating about playing like Wolverine in, say, a discard deck back in like beta. It was like, I mean, I discard the Wolverine, it's cool, I get a 2-3, but sometimes it ruins my play. That's something to consider. But I think this card is very strong. I think that it helps mostly destroy. I don't know if you want it in discard. I don't know if you want it in discard. The randomness of it is very annoying. If you're only playing it in discard to hopefully discard it and then just get a random extra energy. We'll see. I think you're overrating it, Get Wrecked, but I think it's very good. I don't think it's like a game-breaking card though, for sure. But I think it's very strong and very interesting to see how a destroy deck can capitalize on the ramp that you can get from it. Hope she says enough said Bub as well. So I'm interested. This card's definitely very strong. Helps destroy decks a lot. Does it get them over the top to be like a tier 1 deck? I don't know. But I'm really interested to see how the deck changes when incorporating this. Very cool card. Next up, Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai, 4/5 on reveal. Each player discards their lowest power card from their hand. Ooh, scary. Scary card. Scary card. The biggest thing with stature is that when there's now 2 cards that can pretty consistently do it, because I feel like this is much better than Moon Knight, right? You're paying an extra energy. You get 2 extra power, so it's usually kind of the payoff that you want. But you get some agency over which card gets discarded. It's like Moon Knight, the biggest problem is like you can play Moon Knight, you just discard your stature, you cry, right? Silver Samurai, you could be running a Swarm in your deck. You could be running X-23 in your deck, maybe. You know, you could be running Wolverine in your deck. So you could have these cards that are meant to get discarded on your bottom. You run this, you run Colleen Wing, and then you can target those cards to get out of your hand. And it activates stature, which I think is really huge. I think this activating stature is pretty cracked. Anti-Kitty. The problem with Anti-Kitty is that Kitty's almost always on the board. This card seems really good. This card seems like a really good tool. And it's might put stature over. Like, stature was already... No, it took a long time for people to realize that, like, stature, just the stats that you get from her are generally worth it in a lot of just stats-focused decks. Oh, it's lowest power. Wait, I actually completely missed that. Correct? I thought it was lowest cost, 100%. Sorry if anyone else has been yelling that. Lowest power. I think the problem with Black Bolt is that it's a 5 cost card. Like, this card works with Zabu. I think that on 5, you probably, like, the fact that you had to play Black Bolt exactly on 5, I think was one of its downsides. Yeah. Well, Dakin is coming out too, which is the I don't have it on here, do I? But I let me grab it. I'll make sure to grab Dakin. I don't know if I have it in this list. The lowest power card. So this could target your opponent's Iron Man on curve, which is really nice. Hit Monkey. It's a really good point. Dracula. You're usually playing that on curve if you have it. Zola. Zola's a great point. Yeah, if your opponent's choosing to put a 0 cost card in their deck, you probably want to discard it, right? I don't think negative will matter. They'll have played it by the time you play this. If this is discarding negative, your opponent probably wanted you to do it anyway. You know what I mean? Unless you ramped into it on 3 with Zabu. Double Down is a stretch, but not impossible. I think the Darkhawk is a really good point. Patriot. Patriot's kind of rare, but I guess you do often hold Patriot in your hand. Lowest power. What cards would you want to aim to discard with this then? It's kind of harder to get rid of Swarm. Yeah, Hobgoblin too. Oh, you could run Iron Man and then run Ghost Rider. That's very interesting. Surfer. X-23. Bait with goblins? I mean, he's just saying, like, if your opponent has a goblin, it's something that would get targeted. Like, if your opponent's running Hobgoblin, you just always discard it. Yeah, what do we discard, though? I feel like it's probably X-23 Wolverine, or you're just like, oh, this is a card I don't want to play anyway. It's kind of your idea of it. Ghost Rider Hobgoblin? Could Ghost Rider Hobgoblin. Yeah, or the Dakin shard that you get, which is a 1/1. Is that right? We'll pull up Dakin next because I think it connects with a lot of these cards. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's pull up Dakin really fast. The Dakin is the series pass card for next month, right? So this is the series pass card for next month. So Dakin is a 3/4 with on reveal add Muramasa shard to your hand. Also looks like Wolverine. This is Wolverine's son, correct? Wolverine's son, correct. And the Muramesa Heart says that this is discard or destroy. Double Dakin's power. This seems really good. This card seems really good. I'll talk about why I think it's really good. It's a 3/4, which just feels fine to play on 3. Like if you have a 3/4, you're usually just totally cool playing it on 3. It's just something you can get out of your hand. So it adds this 1/1 to your hand. If you have any way of destroying it, then you get a 3/8. So if you have to play it, you are paying for like a 4/8 with extra steps. Or if you have any way to discard it, it's pretty easy. Yeah, plus you can get it a little bit bigger. Take it on 3, Samurais on 4. Really nice line. Discard from your opponent. Activate Stature. It's got a sweet Dan Hip variant. I think this card is just a really, really solid kind of glue type card to any discard or destroy style deck. Like even just like a discard deck, right? Like a discard deck doesn't have much to do on turn 3, like the classic discard deck. Turn 3, you're usually either just playing out your Morbius or your Collector or you're storming. I don't really like Storm in those decks unless you have Dracula in hand. So if you're just playing Dakin out, it adds a card to your hand. If you already have Morbius out, when you Modoc, you're actually buffing that Morbius an additional time while doubling. You're surprised not. I'm not as much of a chibi stan as I used to be, if I'm honest. Yeah. You can just run this in Surfer with Skillmonger. Running this in Surfer with Skillmonger is insane, dude. You just play it out, like play this on 3 or 4, play the Muramasa shard on 4 or 5, and then you sneak Killmonger in there, man. Get Dakin and Colin in the same lane, Odin it for 16 in that lane. Yo. You can even just do that on turn, you could do that on turn 5 and 6. That's a really cool combo. Hey all, Binks here. If Nova's on the board, does Nova not before the double? It depends on what got played first. So if Nova got played before the shard, then the Nova will trigger. If the shard got played before Nova, then it won't add to get it to 10. This card is cracked in Surfer. This card is absolutely insane in Surfer. Even if you don't like pop it, you still get like a 1/1 that you could just add 1 power somewhere. It's like not horrible. Because you usually have extra energy on turns 4 anyway. Yeah, if you have Nova first, it would get it to 10. Dakin and an Absman and a Killmonger. You wouldn't want Absman to do that. It's not worth it for sure. Then you'd have to play both shards. And the Absman wouldn't get the benefit of the shard doubling it. You could play Lady Sif and Surfer, right? Why would you want to play Lady Sif and Surfer? It targets your highest card. I don't think you'd be able to hit anything. Try on 4, Dakin, Colleen on 5. That seems kind of bad because you can't Taskmaster it, right? Really important to be able to Taskmaster cards. Veno Mausaber. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. One step closer to our goal of 1 million subs. Thank you. Yeah, anything that doubles can get pretty crazy, right? You want Gammon in your Surfer deck? Guess. Maybe. Probably wouldn't mind it. You probably want a guaranteed hit though, which is why I think like playing it, maybe running Venom would be better. Yeah, you can Moon Girl the shard, Dakin Moon Girl Modoc or something like that. Wong, yeah, Wong is pretty sweet with this. Play like Morbius on like 2 or 3, play Wong on 4, play Dakin Colleen on 5, make an insanely huge Dakin, and just like play like Modoc to finish the game or something. Almost just better Panther. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. It's very cool. Very unique card. Very cool way that it just adds this. It probably has cool lore ideas to it. I don't know what the hell lore it is. Any lore heads in chat? Probably some cool lore to it as to why it doubles his power. Dakin's a silly sounding name. So is Apehawk. Get wrecked. Get absolutely destroyed. Okay, let's jump over. So Dakin, I think, is really cool. That whole package, all the cards, Silver Samurai, all those cards, I think work together really, really cool. I'm very excited for it. Let's jump to September. So September season pass card is going to be Loki. A 3/4 with on reveal, replace your hand with cards from your opponent's starting deck. Give them -1 cost. God damn it, am I excited for this card, dude. I was so excited the very first time I saw it. Because this card, okay, Chad, this card isn't going to be good. I'll get out there and say it. It's not going to be an A tier 1. It's not going to be any tier 2 decks. Maybe it finds a way to squeak out its way in like a tier 3 or 4 deck, right? But god damn it, is it going to be fun. God damn it. Yeah, get Quinjet out. Oh, dude, I'm so excited to mess around with this card. Just getting your opponent's deck and then beating them with random cards from their deck sounds so goddamn fun to do. God damn it, it sounds so much fun. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be great, but this is gonna be such a joyous card to mess around with, dude. Yeah, Quinjet, Sarah. I wonder if Collector would work. It says replace, so you're removing and adding. I don't know if like replace has precedent for working with Collector. Has there been the word has the word replace been used in other aspects that makes the Collector work? I'm interested in that. It's probably fine that it works with Collector. Play Collector Loki on 5. Oh. Loki's just Mindscape. No, Mindscape says swap. Mindscape says swap, right? It's different. Different words, different text. Devil Dino would be good with it. I don't think it matters, because you're changing the cards. Weird World also doesn't use the word replace. Actually, wait, we can check this, right? Replace. Ooh. It's only used in Bucky, Angel, and Scarlet Witch, so nothing that refers to cards in hand. So there's no precedent for whether or not it would work. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure people yell at Glenn about it, and then he'll figure it out. I'm insanely excited for this card. I think this card is super, super fun. I love adding cards like this to the game that are like something unique and like not necessarily powerful, but have a pretty crazy effect. Pix will do anything to mention Angel. Have you seen that variant though?
This is what we got. Everybody's a big
Russian
fan.
Scar, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub. One sub closer to our goal of 1 million subs. Make sure you use all the emotes. My favorite is Binks Nux, as you can see at the top of the screen. I think it's awesome. Collector should work. I would imagine so. Replace in my mind means remove and add at the same time, right? The political poster variant. Oh, that is a great variant, dude. Holy crap. This one is crazy too. Sorry, you can't see the bottom left one is really crazy. The Venomized one looks absolutely insane. Yeah, these Loki variants go real hard. Is that a Grecki, I'm guessing? Yeah, it's a Grecki. Fuego, dude. I'm so excited for September. I'm gonna play so much of this card. It's gonna be ridiculous. Super fun. If it works with Collector, I think this goes in that Collector, like small cards, no Dino Collector deck, and just goes insane. Just so much. Just add a bunch of random cards to your hand and replace them all with Loki to good cards. I wonder if you can get duplicates. What do you guys think? What would your expectation be? Do you think you can get duplicates? Goes in the Gimme Dat deck? Yeah, definitely. Probably not. I wonder. I don't know any reason why you wouldn't be able to get duplicates, right? Possibly take duplicates with Cable and White Queen. It's true. True. Cool. So it's Loki. Super excited. Alioth. This is the big one, man. If this card gets released as is, it's in almost every deck. Alioth, 5/5, destroy all enemy cards played here this turn, including unrevealed cards. If you're playing a lockdown deck, what a finisher, dude. What an insane finisher. What an absolutely ridiculous finisher. You play some garbage to cheese out one lane anywhere early in the game, and you find a lane where you're ahead, Alioth. Eliath, whatever. Screw you. Screw you. I'm going to call it Alioth all the time. With Jean Grey, I don't think Jean Grey matters at all. Because you're just going to target one lane that you want. I also don't know how this gets released as is. I think that this is insane. Yeah, Spider-Man on 5, Alioth on 6 is literally GG. This card just seems so broken. The best finisher card maybe they've ever printed. So I don't know. I can't imagine it gets released as is. I'm sure they'll play test it. There is precedent for changing cards very recent, like very close to release. You didn't realize High Evolutionary was changed 2 weeks before it was released. Living Tribunal was changed like 2 weeks before release. So they change cards up until like weeks before they release them. I think this card will be a massive problem. And the problem is, I don't know what you do to change this card. I think it needs I don't think you can release this. This is like, okay. This card is as bad as what people thought Leader was when Leader wasn't that bad. This card is as bad as people thought Leader was. Because I don't think Leader was nearly as bad as people thought, but this card is actually as bad as what people thought Leader was. Where you just play Leader and win the game. You literally just play Eliath and win the game. Just reduce the power to 5/3. I don't know if that fixes the issue, dude. I don't know if it fixes the issue. I don't know, man. Leader felt bad. This would actually be as bad as like the hyperbole that people made people think Leader was. Because you can play around Leader. How do you play around this? How do you play around this? Being ahead on board and then playing Cosmo is like the only way. Armor, I guess. I guess armor on 6 and you need to be ahead. Or armor will probably be a lot like Cosmo and armor. If this gets released as is, you have to put Cosmo and armor in like almost every deck, man. Yeah, you just don't, right? It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Float on turn 5 and play Infinite on 6 and then gets eaten by Eliath. and then this eats it. You don't play this on turn 5. You play this on turn 6. You always play this on turn 6. If you're playing this on turn 5, you're bad. No offense. I mean, there's probably some reason to do it. The only reason you're playing this on turn 5 is if you have Absorbing Man to play on turn 6. Play the same card, right? Like, the only reason you're playing this on turn 5 is if you have Odin or Absorbing Man to play it on turn 6. This card is crazy, dude. Zola. Oh God, dude, what is wrong with you people? Yeah, Juggernaut's pretty a decent counter, but you have to be ahead too. Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough, dude. I hope they don't release this card as is. I really do. All right, we got 9 minutes left. 2 cards, perfect time. Mobius, 2/3 ongoing. Your cards can't be increased. Your opponent's cards can't be reduced. Love it. Very rude card. Very rude card that just can infuriate your opponent. This card goes in like every Spectrum deck. I feel like most of the Spectrum decks are looking for more like 2 cost, just good ongoings. This is simply just a good ongoing card. Dream Dimension counter Pog, Iceman counter Pog, Icebox counter Pog, Wave counter. Holy shit, dude. Wave counter? Or like, wait, oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Wait, the wave interactions. Holy shit, dude. I don't know how wave will work either, but it would be crazy. Also, look at the fucking Dan Hip with the crocodile Loki. Holy. That could be the first Dan Hip super rare right there, man. But Pig shouldn't matter. Wave still beats us, you think? I mean, there's no real precedent, right? There's never been something that says costs can't be increased or reduced. There's never been a card that said that before, so there's no precedent. There's no precedent whatsoever. A lot of people had problems with, or like questions about like Luke Cage with Valkyrie and stuff like that. So there's just like a lot of ways that we have to see how this works. I think this card is awesome. I think it's a cool tech card. I don't know. I think I would run it in every single Spectrum deck I ever make from now until the end of eternity. This just seems like a good premium statted 2-drop, especially in certain metas. You want it all the time. This card seems terrifying. We'll have to see exactly how everything. Yeah, Deathwave is back. Like, no lie, dude. Deathwave is back, bro. Holy, very cool card. Super excited to see exactly how all the interactions work. But definitely has a possibility to be really mean. And last but not least, we have Renova Ren Slayer. Your cards with 1 or less power cost 1 less, minimum 1. 3/3, so underpowered. Talk about cards at discounts. Zola, Iron Man, Hit Monkey. Hit Monkey's terrifying. Cerebro, Mystique, Patriot, Psylocke, Black Widow, both Goblins, important. Darkhawk, huge. Goblins, kind of important, but not super meta cards. If you run She-Hulk, you don't want to run more Mobius, probably. Why not? Wouldn't it maybe make the I don't know how it would work. Countered by Mobius, so true. Canon event. Ironheart, White Tiger for like Wong combos is pretty important. If I could have one Dan Hip art print, what would it be? It's a really good question. I'll get back to you. I have honestly, like, the out of nowhere freaking out. I want the Loki one. I would have that. I would hang that Loki one up on my wall. The Loki crocodile one with Mobius. I would hang that up on my wall. Yeah, Mystique. So yeah, huge buff to C3. Honestly, this is crazy in Cerebro 3, right? Especially if you're running the Cerebro 3 that has the Wasp and stuff. I guess the problem with it is that you wouldn't run it in the Bast version, right? Because once you play Bast, it changes this. So you'd run this in like one of the Cerebro 3s that doesn't run like the Bast, Wasp, Valkyrie kind of package. Yeah, Darkhawk's very scary. This is an interesting card. Excited to see what happens with this card. It is releasing very similar timing to Mobius, so it might be in a lot of decks. It is the TVA clock. Yeah, Renova Renslayer was the girl in Loki. She was in Loki. She was the Mobius's boss. Imagine your opponent scorpions you. Very interesting, yeah. Bishop, Patriot, Taskmaster is very important. Morph, Dracula, negative. Negatives that probably doesn't matter, right? But yeah, Rosalvo plus Renova equals 2/0 Darkhawk. Or Ravona. I just keep saying Renova. It's Ravona. Renova. Yeah, that's dyslexia for you. Be an interesting backup plan in Mr. Negative deck. I don't think you would never run this in a Mr. Negative deck. There's no reason to. You play it. You play. Oh, Scott. Thank you so much for gifting a community sub for Dakin. Almost like Dakin. 927. Dakin, if you could do me a favor and thank Scott with your favorite emote, I would appreciate it. Yeah, Null would not work because of how Null works in your hand, which is a little bit different. Morbius is another important one, which because I don't think Morbius changes in your hand anymore. So playing Morbius for 1 later in the game is crazy. This card is really strong. This card is really strong in certain decks. It's kind of like a different. You'd run it in the same decks you'd run Bast, but you might not run Bast and this in the same deck. Does that make sense? I don't know why. I don't think you'd run it in Surfer. Right? I think that's kind of how you'd look at this card. You'd get, instead of getting the benefit of adding power to it, you get the benefit of discounting those cards. I think it'd be really, really cool. But that's it. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, this is my extra channel. Make sure to hit subscribe on my extra channel, because this isn't the Binks channel, it's an extra channel. And also hit subscribe. Okay, bye.